In this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about programs and combis in order to help you have a better understanding of how the Korg Karma organizes its sounds. These modes are key to performance, and also in sequence mode they're loosely related. And so in order to do sound editing, you of course need to know how these two work together. When you first boot up the Karma, you're going to be taken into combi mode by default. And then from there, of course, you can click on any of the different modes. I'm going to go ahead and leave this on combi for now. And you'll see that it pulls up the first program, or the first combi rather, is bank A00. Of course, at this point you could toggle through any of the different banks here, and you could also use the dial or the increment and decrement buttons to dial through any of the combinations. Or you could also type in the combination that you'd like to go to and press enter. But I just want to roughly explain exactly what a combination is. A combination is a collection of programs that can be layered and split and controlled, and also in the Korg Karma these combinations can be controlled by different Karma modules to emulate bass patterns and drum beats and so forth. So you can think of the combi mode as more or less like a performance mode. If you click on the F2 button and go to the prog tab, you'll see the associated programs that are assigned to this combination. You can have up to 8 programs, and as we scroll through these here, you'll see that those are listed at the top. A96, there's also E49, and it gives a readout of what that program name is. Now, of course, in combination mode, there's going to be many different parameters associated. You might have, as I said before, you might have the Karma modules playing different portions or different tracks. You may have the keyboard split up into different areas where you might have a lead and a bass sound in different areas of the keyboard. You can also assign the different MIDI parameters. Any of the top controls here that are associated with the Karma modules, or the voice filtering and so forth. Also, you've got some master insert effects that are associated in a combination. So all those things brought together, all these up to 8 programs with all these different parameters, can be saved as a combination. Now let's click on the prog button, and this will take us over to program mode. And as I said before, the combinations can include up to 8 programs, so that means that, of course, that combis contain programs. Well, let's talk about what a program contains or consists of. A program is where you're going to assign an oscillator to a sound, and you're going to, or to a program rather, and you're going to assign different parameters. Also, you may assign a Karma module or a generated effect to this program as well. You'll have some performance editing as far as like EGs, filter controls, things of that nature. Also, you have your many different insert and master effects that can be associated with these, that can all be saved in what's called a program. Now, the building blocks of a program, or where the sound comes from with the oscillator, is brought in with something called, or something that Korg calls, a multi-sample. And this is internal ROM that's going to be stored in the Karma workstation, that are basically the building blocks for all of the programs, and of course the sounds associated with those programs. So that's just a brief overview of how these two modes work together. And in the next set of videos, we're going to cover some basic edits and then go into more detail with some filters and oscillator controls and many different detailed type parameters that we'll cover.